So in today's video, we're going to talk about the levels of MSP. And I think if you're a business owner looking for great IT support and really wondering, how do I look and rate kind of these different ranks of MSP, we've got a great segment in there for you. And then for everybody in the industry, or maybe you're building your own managed service provider, or maybe you're looking to start one, pay attention. There's a lot more detail towards the end for those of us in the industry, building or looking to build a managed service provider. I'm Stephen Taylor. For the last 10 years, I've been building a cybersecurity IT support company here in Chicagoland, doing a couple $1 million in business. In this video series, I talk about technology, running our business, growing our business, but also my thoughts on life and living a wholly successful one. When you're purchasing, managed services, or when you look to an MSP, you also have to be mindful of this as well, right? Are you getting into with a entry-level MSP? Are you looking at a more established MSP? Or I think, probably that third bucket is, are you looking at more of a regional or a national stance MSP who might have, 30 to 50 employees, techs, engineers, all that kind of stuff. And obviously different levels of support, different pricing with all. And I think it's, if we bucket it into these three, it's fairly straightforward and easy. It's going to be very cheap and very affordable on the one-man band or the very small MSP, but you're going to be missing some services. I would worry about not getting cybersecurity support and not having some of the security best practices and a lot of the automation, right? It's going to take them a little bit longer to do things because they're going to have to deploy people, whereas maybe that middle ground MSP, they're going to have more tools, more automation, more systems, more cybersecurity, and those kinds of things in place. And then at the bigger level, and this is something that I worry about because I feel like we're in this level. Yeah, we're a little bit more expensive than the smaller shops. We're not this expensive yet. But we don't also have the stature and the reach, right? We have 18 team. We're pretty well diverse and we have a good breadth of knowledge, but certainly a team of 35 or 50 engineers, you're going to have a heck of a lot more knowledge. And this is the part that I fear though, is you're going to have, that hierarchy and kind of the politics and, it's got to be done this way, where I believe we're a bit more freeform. We can instantly change direction and deploy resources where things need to get done and adjustments and things need to happen. The cybersecurity thing is a perfect example. This tidal wave was coming across, our world in this industry. We adjusted immediately and we got things done and we deployed that to all of our clients. Whereas I think in the bigger MSP, you might not have that agility. You might not have those personal relationships. And so for me, I'm concerned. How do we, get to this third level of our business in our industry without, taking on some of those I think negative side effects of becoming a bigger business. But I think those are the three different buckets. When you look to a managed service provider, you want to be interviewing and looking at, and maybe you'll pick one from each. Maybe your budget and kind of your needs are very simple for now as you grow your business. So you might look to that, small shop, maybe 5 techs, engineers, more of a local, or, you're a manufacturing customer, you've got a sizable business, that you need technology working all the time because the downtime or the challenge of, an employee not being able to get their work done doesn't bode well for your business. Then, probably look to that middle bucket. And certainly if you're a bigger business, with a few different locations dispersed, maybe, in a region or nationally, and you kind of need that footprint, then you probably want to look to one of those, more regional or national vendors for MSP. For a while now, a lot of people, I follow the forums and groups and all over the internet, people, I want to start an MSP, how do I get started? I want to jump into this. And now we're seeing even more of that, right? I think because life happens, changes have happened, maybe people have gotten laid off or things are definitely changing. And so some people are like, maybe this is my sign or my opportunity to go and do something that I've always wanted to do and, start an MSP if that kind of was their wheelhouse. But then conversely, I've also seen the level of, man, is it time for me to get out of this business? I'm tired of this business. Is it time for me to look to an exit? Or some people who are like looking for a hybrid. Hey, how do we maybe merge together or band together and be able to tap those resources? So it's an interesting time right now. For people looking to start and conversely looking for people looking to exit. On the startup side, I always respond with the first question, which is, are you ready for this? Are you ready to dedicate, 10 years of your life to then finally, hopefully, be able to build it to a place where I'd imagine the reason why you're wanting to start this, right? To have a team, to not be working 24/7 and always be, at the mercy of your clients, and to make a decent living for your family, and hopefully, maybe be impactful to the team that you build and the community that you live in, right? And that goal and that dream is awesome. And that's exactly what you should want out of it. But it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in the first 3, 4, 5, might not even happen in 10 years, right? Thankfully, through our hard work and the amazing team that we have, we've been able to build that in 10 years. But I know guys who have been doing it for 15, 16 plus years, and they still kind of struggle, or it's not really where they want it. And those are the ones conversely saying, hey, is it time for me to merge? Is it time for me to look, for an exit? I've been doing this for so long. And it's an industry that's always changing. It's an industry that you're at the mercy of whatever might happen. If the weather's bad today, power could go out, the internet could go out. If a server decides it doesn't want to boot up today, that's your responsibility. And so you really are a firefighter, in this industry, and you have to be ready for anything and everything, at a moment's notice, dropping everything that you're doing to go help and save that customer. And so it's just a very big mountain to climb. And whenever someone asks, should I start an MSP or should I, you've got to really ask yourself, are you ready? And I've seen a few, and they respond back and they're like, you know what, maybe you're right. I've been doing it this way for 16 years. Maybe I'm not ready. And that's something I really need to look at. That am I good to sign up for this for another 10? In this new light or in this new business model, whatever it might be. So it's definitely not for everybody. And this is true of all businesses, but I think it's even more difficult in the MSP industry with cybersecurity, with what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. I think it's something that you really, really want to look at before you dive in. And a lot of them are asking, well, how do I, what tools should I use? What vendors should I use? How do I price and package? All these different things. And we could talk more about that as the levels of MSP, right? Because I think on your journey, you're going to start small and you're going to grow your way to those next levels. But the first problem you have to solve is, how do I get customers? How do I sell? How do I get revenue? Because cash is the blood of a business. And without it, there's no sense worrying about what should I price? What tools should I use? How do I get my first hire? What marketing pieces should I use? What marketing should I be doing? What do I do with the website? All this fodder and all this stuff is meaningless. It's not going to get you anywhere if you don't have any sales, if you don't have any customers. So number one, you want to start a business in anything, go find customers who are willing to pay you something for what it is that you want to deliver. Without that, there's not a business, and there's not a coach, a marketing program, or a, one size fits all anything that's going to save that until you have customers who are willing to spend money on what you have. There's so much discussion all the time in our industry of, gosh, how do I build out this cybersecurity package? What marketing should I be doing? What's my next hire? What do these roles need and require? And again, I think this is probably true of all businesses. There's levels, right? When I first started, I would run around and fix grandma's computer for $50. We were not a managed service provider. I was a computer repair kid, right? A computer repair business. And slowly we grew that into, and we realized we're like, why chase one computer at a time when I can get 10 at a small business, or 50 at a small business, right? And so then we developed into, well, we're only going to work with businesses. And then we started to develop into this model of, we're only going to work with them, not on a break fix model, because that's totally unsustainable. It's not a good setup for you as the provider, nor as the client, right? You only get paid and only get calls when stuff for the client is down, damaged, or broken. Not a win-win for anybody. In a managed services environment, in a monthly ongoing, you then get paid to be proactive about the support that you're providing to that client. Their systems are more taken care of. They probably have a better uptime, and things are handled on a faster, more proactive basis win-win for both sides. And so as we developed and as we grew, we would continue to layer on what the customer needed. We learned that this monthly model was the way we wanted to go. And then we learned the customers were tired of getting nickeled and dimed for this feature, this piece, this item, right? And that was with other providers and then also with us. And so we decided, okay, let's simplify that. One invoice with everything we do, super all-inclusive, and we're going to give that to them. And they loved it, right? And then they were referring and the business grew because of those kinds of things. And again, all of these are just different levels in your MSP. And whilst I know my way and the way that we were able to accomplish and get to maybe this third level, if you will, that may be something totally different for you and the customers and the market that you're in. You might be able to copy and paste some of it, but you really have to just listen to what the clients want and then deliver and then adjust, right? And this latest level for us has really been a focus on cybersecurity. The world changed, and so we adapted what we're doing. And we went to different vendors and we found different products that we believed in, and we layered those in, to the services that we provide. And we priced it based on, this is what it's going to cost us for the tools. This is what it's going to cost us to deliver it. Okay, put some margin on that so we're a healthy, growing business, and plug it in and go. It's not that hard. And I've always looked at things, keep it simple. And I think in our industry, in the engineering mindset that we all have, it's so easy for us to go to the other side and obsess. I have to get this perfect. I have to get this right. I have to know everything about this before I'm willing to go out there. And I've gone the opposite direction. Hey, this looks awesome. This seems like a great product or a great service. Let's go to our customers, see if they're willing to buy it, see if they trust us and they agree with what we're saying. And when they say yes, then we'll figure it out. We'll go buy it. We'll, learn, but we have revenue and cash and money and clients saying yes versus the opposite, which is backwards. Us spending money on something that we feel is the right fit, but the client's having zero interest in it. You've got to have clients, you've got to have money and revenue before you can justify a product, a business, a service, a feature, an upgrade, whatever it might be. Go and let the market dictate what they want and then, fill that need. Even with these guys, these guys will find, because our industry is rife with cool, sexy tools and new vendors, and they're always hitting us up, and the team will come to me and they're like, look at what we found. This is so cool. And I'm like, this is really cool. Can we get the clients to pay for it? Right? And when you start looking at that vendor's pricing and things, and then you've got to go to your client and say, hey, we've got something awesome that we want to layer in, but we can't afford to do it in our normal annual increase. It's going to cost you X. And they go, that's a little bit steep for us. We appreciate your recommendation, but that might be something that we have to wait a year or two to do. And so, then it's kind of holding the team back and saying, hey, put the brakes on that. We don't have the market. We always want to be fresh and on top of what's, not bleeding edge, but the latest and greatest of, even if it's a spam filter, right? So many times a vendor might do it the same way for so long, and then a new vendor comes out and does it in a totally different light, right? And we want to look at these tools and things that we provide. Is this one that we've used for X amount of time still delivering the value that we needed to, or might this one be better, and can we do it cost effective enough? And so we're often comparing these tools. It's an ongoing thing. And that again is the levels of MSP. You may, when you first start, have to just do the basics. Let me roll my, remote tool. Let me monitor for patching and issues and alerts. But that's all I can really sustain. And that's the value then that you sell to the customer. And as that customer stays with you and as you grow your business, then maybe you're able to layer on 2 or 3 more things. And you go again to that customer and say, hey, here's now the value that we're providing. And then you go to net new prospects and you can say, here's the package that we're providing now. And you continue to grow through these different levels. And again, every MSP has done it in their own way with their clients leading them on what they're looking for and what they want, and the market saying, this is what we need, right? You can copy and paste. You can certainly, knock off the competition and you can copy, but it's probably better to listen to the market, listen to your clients, listen to your prospects, and then adjust accordingly and grow accordingly, right? What are they looking for from your team? hey, one of the things we built our business on is always answering the phones. Maybe as a one-man band, that's not something that you can do right now, but it's something that your clients want. And so your first hire maybe is somebody that you park in the office that can answer the phone when you're out and about, managing your customers. And then as you grow, how do we build that out instead of 8x5 Monday through Friday? How can we build that out to be more 24/7 so that if a client has an urgent need, someone can answer the phone for them? So all of these different things. Every once in a while, right, you get some technically apt clients or somebody who, pays a little bit more attention. And they might say, hey, what about this? Can we use this? And sometimes we might help them leverage that technology or that software platform in their business. But when it comes to the security and the IT support side, we really heavily standardize on what we use. And we deploy that to all of our customers to simplify our operations. We only have to deal with one firewall vendor, with one antivirus software, with one spam filter. And so we might push back on that customer and say, hey, we'll take a look at it, but what we're providing is what we're going to use unless we change it out for everyone involved. And we can talk a little bit more about, clients looking to kind of diagnose themselves or sometimes maybe pushing back a little too much. But for us, another one of the reasons why we've been successful and been able to grow so quickly is because we standardize that stack across all customers, really simplifies our operations. And then we're able to adjust and pivot and deploy one fix then to the masses because we have that one specific firewall vendor, for instance. I think the last and maybe the most important piece for our industry and kind of where we're at is cybersecurity. And I think at whatever level you're in, and as a buyer, whatever level of service you might be looking to get, certainly you have to have your needs met, right? You have to have somebody who's responsive to take care of technology to make it work for you and your business. And we as providers have to meet that level of service. If you can't answer the phone, if you can't get things done, and if you can't make technology work, you're probably in the wrong business. But probably the most important thing that all of us in this industry and all of us as business owners and all of us in the world need to be focused on is cybersecurity. And so as an MSP, you've got to figure out how to start layering in best practices, levels of service, ancillary products and vendors for cybersecurity awareness, two-factor authentication, and you had better be taking care of these things in your own house. And there's a whole nother video on that. You've got to put down everything that you're doing and take care of these things if you're an MSP. And if you haven't yet gotten this accomplished, please, please, please watch that video and go get this stuff done, because we are a target. We are a treasure trove for this stuff. And more broad, our world is a target for this stuff, and it is putting people out of jobs, putting people out of business. It is stealing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars from our economy, from our businesses, from people's livelihood because of, the bad guys in this cybersecurity stuff. Super important. And for all of us, I think it is, should be a top priority in our business to make sure that this stuff is taken care of. And so if you're a managed service provider, take care of it in-house and be providing great services and best practices to your clients. If you're a business, ensure that your managed service provider is taking care of this stuff in their own house and is providing you this level of service, because it is one of the most important things. Great service, great support, and answering the phones isn't going to mean anything if we're out of business tomorrow because of a cybersecurity breach, ransom, what have you. Go ahead and rate your level of service today. How did you find this video? Go ahead, give me a comment, ask me questions, please. I'm here to serve.